Calling to order the Cuyahoga County Council's regular meeting for Tuesday, April the 9th, 2019. Clerk, please call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Schron.
Here.
Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is absent at the moment. Ms. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Ms. Simon.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
Council President Brady. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment?
We do, Mr. President. The first speaker is Mr. Damon Apple. Step up to the podium. All right, we'll put that one to the side. Ms. Sabrina Otis.
Good evening, council members. I'm here to talk about the plastic ban for Cuyahoga County. I have quite a few issues with it. I shop like a lot of people here in the community, and I don't have time to remember to carry a bag with me if I have to, periodically stop at the store. But a couple of things that are bothering me about the ban. One of the issues has to do with the fact that if we're so worried about Lake Erie, and the ban is to protect our greater resource, our natural resource, why haven't you guys implemented something like a filter? Filters on everybody's water system, because if we're worried about the lake, we all ingest that water. It goes through the little filtering system through the water, and we pay and ingest it. Why don't we have filters in everyone's home, apartments, whatever? Why hasn't the county, if we're going to implement a ban, when we're implementing the ban, we're also going to provide filters for everyone. I'm not talking about big filters for a big tank. What about the ones for that go right on the sink, so that when you turn on the water, it's filtering out? If we're concerned about plastic and ingesting plastic, and that's the whole purpose of this plastic ban, plastic bag ban, then why aren't we talking about some kind of filter? Because even when you ban it, we're still going to be ingesting plastic for ever many years until supposedly all the plastic will be out of Lake Erie. And the other issue is the states that have implemented the bans turned around and started the stores. They allowed the stores, the retailers, to charge fees, even though they first said, no, we're not going to do a fee. We're just going to ban them. They brought back you can look it up. Hawaii, California, they brought back plastic bags and paper bags, and they have fees with them. I don't want to pay a fee for a bag. I'm already paying groceries. I do not want our retailers kicking up prices on groceries because they're already high enough. When we're talking about doing something that's I feel is detrimental, because you guys are saying it's detrimental to the lake, well, drinking that water is detrimental to us too. And if we're going to do one, let's do both. Give us some filters. Thank you.
Ms. Fran Mensch.
Good evening. I'm Fran Mensch, the volunteer co-chair of the Water Committee of the Northeast Ohio Sierra Club. History has its eyes on you. This line from the musical Hamilton describes your situation perfectly. You are in a leadership role on the Great Lakes, the source of 20% of the world's fresh water, while we are standing on the threshold of the revolutionary forces of climate change. Around the globe, fresh water will become scarce, leading to mass migration and wars and violence over access to this scarce resource. You can make a difference and help manage the globe's fresh water by voting to help protect it with this ban the bag legislation. Passing this legislation will help improve our area economically. Any jobs lost from the manufacturing of these bags can be recovered by market forces, driving demand for compostable products, and recycling. Petroleum is a scarce resource, too. My father once predicted we will be digging up landfills to look for products made with petroleum to put them to good use. Most important, you will be sending a message about our region's values, telegraphing to the young professionals and millennials that we want to move here and stay here, that they are living their lives in the right place. They are our leaders, that our leaders are innovative, thoughtful, and concerned about their futures. Please do the right thing and vote to ban the bags. History has its eyes on you.
Ms. Constance Frederickson?
I'm chair of a coalition of environmental groups and individuals who are exclusively concerned about banning, curbing plastic bag use. The issue of a fee is a deterrent. We are not engaged in collecting funds for a bag. We are using a fee to discourage people from purchasing a bag and bringing their own. My question to you is, the state has already once attempted to take our power away from us and usurp that power from allowing us to make a decision. So what kind of process does the board have in place for a swift implementation of this ban before the state moves on us?
Just for your future reference, because I think maybe you haven't been here before, ma'am. This is a period where people can come up and say what they have to say, but it's not a dialogue, between the council and the citizen. But thank you very much for coming and your interest in what we're discussing. Thank you.
Ms. Ann Caruso?
Good evening, council members. I just want to remind everybody that last November, the federal government put out a report that was written by 13 federal agencies stating that climate change is having grave economic consequences for America. The New York Times explained the findings of this report like this, quote, the report puts the most precise price tags to date on the cost to the United States economy of projected climate impacts. $141 billion from heat-related deaths, $118 billion from sea level rise, $32 billion from infrastructure damage by the end of the century, among others. The findings came a month after the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is an international group of top scientists convened by the United Nations, issued its most damning, alarming, specific report to date about the severe economic and humanitarian crisis expected to hit the world by 2040. So in addition to these two events, I think it was last year or possibly the year before, the United States Congress and also the state of Ohio legislature okayed building the Appalachian Petrochemical Hub, which is a huge plastic manufacturing center that's going to span 3 states that will ramp up fracking in Ohio, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania to provide natural gas that's going to be needed to produce lots of new plastic. I see that very surprising correlation between these events. Just shows the times that we're living in. We should be reducing our demand for plastic, not inventing new ways to make plastic, not creating new plastic. The idea that plastic is ecological because it's recycled is a myth. Only 9% of the plastic that's ever been created has been recycled. So regardless of wrong turns that we as a people are making, it's very important that we make some correct actions. This bag ban is one of those steps that we can take to create a sustainable future.
Michael Malampy.
I'm a resident of Berea, and I'm very concerned about the plastic bag problem and the plastics issue in general. And I want to speak in support of the plastic bag proposal in front of council. The plastics issue that we're facing is a pervasive one. Most of our plastics, as the previous speakers said, are not recycled. They're landfilled, or they escape landfills and just become plastic pollution. As they break down, they release toxins and greenhouse gases, including methane and ethylene, into the atmosphere. Some of the toxins are endocrine disruptors that disrupt normal development in humans and other organisms. So we're surrounding ourselves with this, and it's not anything that we can filter out of our environment unless we stop using plastics. So the proposal before council will not solve the plastics problem by itself, but it is a first step, and it demonstrates a commitment to building a sustainable future. So I urge you to support the proposal. Thank you.
Justine Smith.
I fully support the ban on plastic bags. I really think Lake Erie is our most important feature in this area. It's beautiful. I want to keep it clean for ourselves and for future generations. I remember when we had a smoking ban in Ohio, and I think it started in Toledo, and there was a bit of an outcry. And then after a while, people adjusted to it. Not only that, most people appreciated the clean environment in the restaurants and bars. I think the same thing would happen once we ban plastic bags. I've also gotten a habit of carrying my own reusable bag, and I find that it's quite easy once I got in the habit. And I've made some observations. Some of the stores I shop at, Aldi's and Costco, I've observed they don't give out plastic bags, but they're still very busy. And they have a big presence in this county, both stores. So I think that it's something that people will adjust to, and I really urge this council to take the leadership and ban plastic bags.
Patricia Blakowiak.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I'm Dr. Patricia Blahowiak. I'm from East Cleveland, and I speak in favor of banning plastic bags. The number of reasons that we should ban plastic bags is so huge that each one of us can only speak to just a little bit of it. One of them is to decrease the use of petroleum, the petroleum that's going through pipelines and it's leaking and it's going into rivers and it's going into the ocean and it's polluting. The process is a polluting process. Another thing is that China has recently stopped taking our recyclables, and so we have a significant problem in finding places to recycle things. It's becoming more and more of a problem. If you read the news, you'll see that throughout the world, animals are dying because of their consumption of plastic, and we have a significant problem with animals going extinct, and we don't want to contribute to that. The other thing is the mess. I'm sure we've all seen the plastic bags blowing around. It's an issue. Plastic bags going into landfill makes it less likely that that land will ever be land that can be used to grow something. The list of reasons is very long, and I could go on, but you've heard many, and these are a few more. I urge you to support banning plastic bags. I want to say also that I generally take my own reusable bags that I keep in the car, and I set them on my doorknob so that I remember to take them when I leave the house. And it's not a difficult thing once you get used to it. Thank you very much.
Stephen Martino.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here as the UAW representative for the RNs at the Justice Center, proudly accompanied by my union brothers and sisters from AFSCME and the UAW. And all the labor movement, and I'm proud that they're with me because the labor movement's always been on the forefront of civil rights and human rights. And, you know, I come with these leaders because we stand up for our morals, we stand up for our beliefs, and whenever it comes to fighting bad management, we push back, okay? So bad management, making bad decisions, maybe not because they mean to make those decisions, but maybe because they keep making them, no one has told them about them. The problem, whenever it comes to a shortfall of a manager, is it's never been corrected. It's just allowed to fester and it's allowed to keep going. Whenever that happens, you have unqualified appointments happen. You have buildings being dilapidated. You have unstable staffing. You have unsafe environments. You have jobless. You're putting people out of jobs, and you even have deaths, okay? So the council has the opportunity to stand up for the nurses. You stand up against bad management here, and you tell them to respect and treat everybody the same. The detainees deserve respect. The nurses deserve respect. And the council can stand up tonight and say, if you're not able to respect everybody there, we're going to vote no until you go back and you tell Metro you need to take the nurses that are there because they have committed to us. So I look forward to the vote. I look forward to hearing this. I appreciated the discussions at the earlier meeting and your views. And we'll be staying tuned. Thanks.
Kathy Schaefer.
Thank you. Yes, I'm here in support of the plastic bag proposal. I was reading some of the comments on Cleveland.com about the plastic bag proposal. Out of 150 or so, some were negative, and I say to that, we need leaders who get it, who understand these environmental problems, who will do the right thing to protect our watershed and our environment. You cannot please every constituent who doesn't get it or chooses not to get it, or it's a little bit too hard to make a change. As Justine was saying, commenting about how people got used to the smoking ban. Well, at one time they did not want to have the Grand Canyon National Park. People fought against that, and guess what? Everybody's on board for that. So I just want to quote Goethe, 17th century Enlightenment poet, "Knowing is not enough. We know these bags are bad. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it." Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Many other states have banned these bags. The European Union, across the board, has gotten rid of it. I think we can do it too. We need to do the right thing. Thank you.
Rachel Carter.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Carter. I'm a resident of East Cleveland. We are members of NOAA's core team. NOAA is a community organizing and development organization based in East Cleveland. On Tuesday, March 26, we delivered petitions from the community along with a report completed by Cuyahoga County Planning Commission on healthy food access in throughout the county and invitations to City Council and administration. Today, we are here to formally invite Cuyahoga County Council and administration in person to our community forum to discuss strategies to implement high-quality grocery stores in undeserved communities like East Cleveland. throughout Cuyahoga County. We have already received confirmation from County Councilwoman Cheryl Stevens and Michelle Pomerantz. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Pomerantz, sorry. And board members from the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. The meeting will be this Monday, April 15th, 6:30 at the McGregor home located 14900 Private Drive, East Cleveland. We ask that you join us so that we can discuss this important issue. Here are copies of the invite. If you plan to attend, we ask that you RSVP per the information provided in the invite. Thank you.
My name is Hank Smith. I'm one of the board members on NOAA, Northeast Ohio Alliance for Hope. And at this time, we would like to invite the council members to our meeting on Monday the 15th. Within the past year, 3 supermarkets have opened in what we call food deserts. And we was hoping to get your support because these stores open with public funding. And we was just hoping we could get whatever help that you can give us in this endeavor. And if possible, we would like to know, we know that Councilwoman Stevens and a couple more of our council people will be there. We was hoping to get a response from the rest of the council to find out if you will be able to attend our meeting. It's a very important meeting for our neighborhood. I'll just give these invitations to the clerk. Thank you very much.
Robert Petrulis.
Good evening. I oppose the bag legislation. I would suggest you begin with a less restrictive alternative, namely a voluntary campaign financed by retail establishments to encourage people to reuse bags. That's what I do. I reuse these evil plastic bags dozens and dozens of times. I will contribute $5.01 to that campaign, mostly because I like the pictures of the individual who's on the $5 bill and on the penny as well. So instead of going to the big hammer of criminalizing very ordinary behavior, I say start with a voluntary campaign and encourage people to do this. Second question I have is, what is the source of the government's authority to intervene in the relationship between the consumer and the vendor? What's the source of this? It's all about packaging and what you're going to put the product into. I don't know what the source of that authority is, but I would call on the conservative members of this chamber, if there is such authority, to roll back that authority, because I don't think it's appropriate. Third thing is, there is going to be an absolute consumer wrath from this. People are going to be extremely upset about it. And who's going to be victimized by that? It's going to be the shop owners. It's going to be the people on the front line. It's going to be the people who work for $8, $10, $12 an hour, who are going to hear the wrath of the consumer. Where are my bags? My wife on the way home told me to pick up 18 items. So I stop at Walmart, I stop at Mark's, I stop at some other store, and they can't give me a bag anymore. I don't have a bag. There's going to be a lot of unhappiness from this. There are many problems and many flaws with this legislation. For example, what about boxes? If you go to Costco and you buy a number of items, they'll say, do you want us to put that in a box? The way I read this legislation, those boxes would be prohibited. Enforcement, it's going to be enforced through anonymous complaints, or it's going to be enforced by complaints. I mean, is this the 1980s? Is this the Stasi in East Germany, where people are going to report on others because they're using bags? I think there's going to be a conflict between this county and other counties who do not have this bag legislation. For example, Medina County is not going to have it. Do we really want to encourage people who are able to go and shop in a different county? I don't think that would be good for our businesses, for the businesses here. I have 9 seconds left, but thank you for listening to me. I think you really ought to pull back, rethink this, and do not pass this legislation. Thank you.
Okay, this is the last call for Damon Apple or Appel. That's it, Mr. President.
To have a motion to approve the minutes as printed on the agenda. First and second.
So move.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the March 21st, 2019 Committee of the Whole and the March 26th, 2019 regular meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Minutes are approved. Do we have a message from the county executive?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We've been working hard to improve conditions at the jail. One of the key steps is to improve health care there. Bringing in Metro to take over the medical care at the jail is a very positive step. We share council's concerns about the current nursing staff, some of which were expressed at the committee meeting today, and we will do all we can for those nurses. I want to thank council for your support, for making available the needed resources, and for putting this contract with Metro on the fast track. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislation introduced by council, committee report, and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading.
Resolution number 2019-0077, making an award to College Now Greater Cleveland in the amount of $500,000 from the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Fund for Component 2 of the Cuyahoga County Educational Assistance Program for the period ending June 30, 2023.
And this item will move to the April 23rd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee report and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. Can I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2019-0076, adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan.
To adopt. Council President, this was heard in committee April 2nd, and there were some questions around the classified position versus the non-classified positions, and Sarah Nemastil from the PRC provided the documentation on April 3rd via email, so I respectfully request my colleagues' support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Consideration of a resolution of council for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2019-0065, approving the reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Soldiers and Sailors Monument Commission Board of Trustees for the term April 16, 2019 through April 15, 2024, as printed on the agenda.
Council President, this item was heard in our Human Resource Appointment and Equity meeting. The individual candidates came before, with the exception of Mr. Young, who the director spoke on his behalf with regards to his reappointment. Each of the candidates expressed their sincere interest and diligence in working on the Sailors and Soldiers Monument, and we respectfully request that we move to adopt this legislation.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Consideration of ordinances of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Ordinance number 2019-0005, enacting Chapter 1304 of the Cuyahoga County Code to implement a disposable bag ban.
And this will be referred to Councilwoman Simon's Committee of Environment and Sustainability.
Ordinance number 2019-0006, amending Section 804.01C1 of the Cuyahoga County Code to expand the list of eligible institutions of the post-secondary college or university scholarship program from those located within Cuyahoga County to those located within the state of Ohio.
And this will also be referred to the Committee of Education and Environment and Sustainability. consideration of an ordinance of council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2019-0003, amending Chapter 501 of the Cuyahoga County Code to change the contracts and purchasing procedures.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, first we need to substitute the legislation before we vote. The proposed substitute incorporates Councilman Miller's reporting requirements of items below $5,000 and some minor technical amendments recommended by the Fiscal Office, OPD, and Public Works, and I'll throw this to Mr. Miller.
Mr. President and my colleagues, the reporting provision says that items of value between $1,000 and $5,000, which formerly had to go before the Board of Control, but will not under the new legislation. It will be required for the administration to provide a monthly report listing those items so that we know what they are, and if we have further questions about them, we can contact the administration for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to commend Councilman Gallagher and Councilman Miller for their work on this legislation. There was some minor disagreement, and we were able to tweak it to, I think, work out something that was a solution that everybody can be happy with. Thank you.
Councilman Shaw.
Thank you. And I, too, want to commend the legislation because this is where we start to get some efficiencies of government by streamlining the process and focusing on the big items like the items we're going to be discussing tonight. Thank you.
All right,
Mr. President, I would move Mr. Miller's substitute.
Mm-hmm. Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Say aye. Ayes have it.
I do not support this.
All right.
So I would be.
Councilwoman Baker is a dissenting vote. So the motion to the substitute has passed. All those in favor, we've done any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting the resolution on its merits as substituted, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it.
I would say no to this also.
And Councilwoman Baker is in dissent. And we have resolutions adopted.
And Mr. President?
Yes.
I would like to thank Chairman Tuma and Mr. Miller and Ms. Baker for initially some of their concerns, because their concerns led to better legislation and better following of the dollars. This was initially started when I was hearing complaints and concerns from our trades in the Department of Public Works, and that had to do with a major project in the jail where we were adding 118 beds. It got held up, and the reason it got held up is they couldn't purchase anything that they needed to move that thing forward. This would alleviate that going forward. I thank everybody for their support and understand those that didn't support this for their concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Legislation introduced by the executive, consideration of resolutions for first reading adoption and under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The rules have been suspended.
Resolution number 2019-0089, approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and Communication Workers of America, Local 4340, representing approximately 82 employees in the classifications of clerk, legal account clerk 1, 2, 3, and legal clerk 3 at the Office of the Clerk of Courts for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2020, directing that funds necessary to implement the collective bargaining agreement be budgeted and appropriated.
To adopt.
And seconded. This item, of course, was discussed in executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Legislation is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0090, approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and Communication Workers of America, Local 4340, representing approximately 48 employees in various classifications at the Sheriff's Department for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2020, directing that funds necessary to implement the collective bargaining agreement be budgeted and appropriated.
Been moved and seconded. This item was also discussed in a quite lively discussion in the executive session. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0091, approving a proposed settlement in the matter of Jason Joswiak et al. Versus Cuyahoga County, United States District, Eastern Division, court case number 1:17-CV-1238, authorizing the county executive and/or his designee to execute the settlement agreement and any related documentation, authorizing the appropriation of funds for payment of settlement amounts set forth herein.
Second.
This was this was the discussion that was quite lively in the executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it.
Resolution number 2019-0092, authorizing an agreement with the Metro Health System in the amount not to exceed $42,300,000 for correctional health care services for detainees of the Cuyahoga County Jail System for the period May 9, 2019 through May 8, 2022, ratifying the county executive's execution of said agreement.
Move to adopt. Been moved and seconded. This item was discussed earlier in the Committee of the Whole. Are there any comments by members of council?
Mr. President.
Councilman Miller.
Mr. President and my colleagues, the current health care situation at the jail is not workable. The mixed model in which part of the services are provided by county employees and part is provided by Metro does not provide a system that can be effectively managed for high quality performance. And for that reason, I support the legislation in front of us. I have also heard the comments that were made both by the council president and by the executive about the need to go beyond what's in the agreement and work to assist the current nursing staff of the jail, and I encourage that Cuyahoga County work closely with Metro to take on each individual case and work with each of these individuals to ensure that they achieve a workable transition. Thank you.
Councilman Schron.
I too agree that the challenges of working with the split type of organization is difficult. And when you look at our primary objective is the medical care, that's the number one concern. So I've been around with other organizations where you have to merge and challenge of blending the workforces together, and I understand that that's difficult. And I hope that that all the parties can understand the difficulty to which the primary objective is always the primary objective, that of the medical care. I hope that as we go forward, we'll be able to look outside the box for those individuals. Perhaps one of the other areas that we even need medical care, and perhaps be coming from our county employees, would be in the area of Health and Human Services, as we know that that's another area that has seen care and services out there as recently as the sad death that took place. So if our medical care could be coming from some of those nurses, perhaps being out in the field and actually looking into that, that's how I think we can get creative and look at other alternatives too. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Tuma.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've read all the reports and we've heard all the concerns of those impacted. The imminent concern for the health and safety of those currently housed in the county jail makes passing this legislation of the utmost importance, and we have to do so without further delay. In addition, as my colleagues have pointed out, every one of us up here are strong union supporters. It's my hope that Metro Health leadership is open to the idea of working with those on the nursing staff, helping them move forward in some capacity with union organization. With that, I would vote yes on this legislation.
Thank you, Councilman Tuma. Councilwoman Conwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say I appreciate all of the concerned residents inside and outside of Cuyahoga County who have shared their voice and position on this matter with phone calls, letters, etc. very difficult decision, no easy black or white. When you are determining a decision that could impact longtime employees. The need of medical services that is managed by expert services for the jail is definitely needed. You've heard that tonight. For the jail is needed and must be for the well-being of the human beings that live within the jail. I support this contract because we we do need a uniform system to provide appropriate medical services for those that are within the walls, and I encourage the management to try and assist the employees that won't move on to Metro, that decide not to move on to Metro. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Conwell. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2019-0093, confirming the county executive's appointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Community Improvement Corporation Board of Trustees for various unexpired terms is printed on the agenda.
This will be referred to Health and Human Services. Correct? Oh, sorry. This will be referred to Human Resources.
Resolution number 2019-0094, approving and accepting a plat covering the vacation of a certain portion of Warrensville Center Road located in the city of Shaker Heights as a county road, ordering the vacation of a certain portion of Warrensville Center Road located in the city of Shaker Heights, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, ordering all proceedings copied into the proper road record of the county by the county engineer.
And this will be referred to Public Works.
Resolution number 2019-0095, making an award on requisition number 44486 to DLR Group Incorporated, doing business as DLR Group, Westlake, Reed, Laskowski, in the amount not to exceed $1,400,000 for programming services for the Justice Center Complex project for the period April 24, 2019 through December 31, 2021.
And this will be referred to Public Safety.
Resolution number 2019-0096, making an award on requisition number 44617 to Envirocom Construction Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $989,500 for the Medical Examiner Building Improvements Project for the period April 24, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
And this will be referred to Public Works.
Resolution number 2019-0097, making an award on requisition number 43165 to Enerlogix Solar in the amount not to exceed $1,200,206.13 for the purchase of electricity generated by rooftop solar systems installed at various county facilities in connection with the aggregated solar project for the period June 1, 2019 through May 31, 2029.
And this will also be referred to Public Works.
Resolution number 2019-0098, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 0900-320 with Terry L. Potorek, Kenneth F. Lutke Partners Investment Properties, formerly known as Investment Properties Limited, for lease of office space and parking spaces located at 1835-1849 Prospect Avenue, Cleveland, for use by Cuyahoga County Veterans Service Commission for the period October 1, 2009 through September 30, 2019, to extend the time period to September 30, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,050,000.
And this will also be referred to Public Works.
Resolution number 2019-0099, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $25 million multifamily housing mortgage revenue bond series 2019 Hamlet Hills by the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio, the proceeds of which shall be loaned to Hamlet Hills to 1, refund and retire certain indebtedness incurred to finance the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of a multifamily residential rental housing facility, 2, finance certain additional capital improvements, 3, fund certain working capital needs for the hereinafter defined borrower, 4, fund interest reserve funds, and 5, pay all or a portion of the costs of issuing such bonds, providing for the pledge of revenues for the payment of such bonds, authorizing a loan agreement and trust indenture appropriate for the protection and disposition of such revenues and to further secure such bonds, authorizing a tax regulatory agreement and a land use restriction agreement agreement, authorizing other actions in connection with the issuance of such bonds, rescinding resolution number 2018-0217 dated November 13, 2018.
And this will be referred to Economic Development.
Resolution number 2019-0100, authorizing a contract with Motorola Solutions Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $844,399 for replacement and installation of new and existing cameras and mounting hardware in a new video management system in connection with the Cleveland Shared Surveillance Camera Project and Video Management System for the period April 24, 2019 through June 30, 2019.
This will be referred to Public Safety.
Resolution number 2019-0101, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for emergency assistance services for the period May 1, 2018 through April 30, 2019, to extend the time period to April 30, 2020, to change the terms effective January 1, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $600,000.
And this will be referred to Health and Human Services. Committee reports and consideration. Oh, we have one more. Madam Clerk, committee report and consideration of a resolution for second reading. I'm sorry.
Correct, yes. Resolution number 2019-0081, authorizing an amendment to agreement number 18,067 with the Metro Health System for the Metro Health Select Network Health Benefit Plan for county employees and their eligible dependents for the period January 1, 2016 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2019, to change the terms effective January 1, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $900,000.
This item will move to the April 23rd Council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading adoption under suspension of rules. Could I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Mr. President, I move to suspend the rules.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2019-0082, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 18017 with Medical Mutual of Ohio for stop-loss insurance services for county employees and their eligible dependents and Cuyahoga County Benefits Regionalization Program participants, employees, and their eligible dependents for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2019, to change the scope of services and the terms effective January 1, 2019, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,250,000.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Brown, do you have any? It's okay. Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2019-0083, authorizing the issuance and sale of county economic development revenue bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $39,500,000 for the purposes of refunding the outstanding principal amount of the County of Cuyahoga, Ohio Economic Development Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2003, the Cleveland Orchestra Project, in the aggregate original principal amount of $28,150,000 and paying or reimbursing the costs of constructing, reconstructing, refurbishing, renovating, upgrading, improving, and equipping Severance Hall, together with appurtenances and work incidental thereto, and for the purpose of paying any capitalized interest on the bonds and paying the costs of issuance in connection therewith, authorizing the preparation and use of a preliminary official statement and an official statement, approving and authorizing the execution of a trust indenture, a loan agreement, a tax agreement, and related documents, authorizing other contracts and other actions related to and necessary for the issuance of the bonds. Additionally, Councilmember Conwell would like to be a sponsor to this item.
Move to adopt. Mr. President, though these bonds are critical to the structure of what's going on, the new roofing system, HVAC system, windows. The county itself is not does not have any exposure as far as this. They're using our good offices, but not our monies to actually do this. So because they're using the title of the county, they were able to get a more attractive interest rate, but we are not actually loaning them any funds in regards to this. However, some of us have been suggesting that when they do this, we should be able to charge them a little bit more for the administration. And in this particular case, we were able to receive $18,000 for doing the administrative and processing for these bonds. It's only fair. They're getting a phenomenal better interest rates than what they currently have. So it's a win-win, and I hope everybody supports it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0084, authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1400-136 with AT&T Corporation for Centrex telephone and messaging services for the period June 1, 2014 through December 31, 2018, to extend the time period to December 31, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,890,000.
Mr. President and colleagues, this resolution approves a 5-year contract extension with AT&T for Centrex services for $1.89 million. This covers phone lines that cannot be provided using the less expensive VoIP internet lines. The number of lines on this contract is gradually decreasing as we do as much as possible of our phone work over the internet lines.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0085, authorizing an amendment to a revenue-generating underlying agreement with City of Euclid for operation of jail services for County Euclid prisoners for the period April 1, 2014 through March 31, 2019, to exercise an option to extend the time period to March 31, 2020, and for additional revenue in the amount not to exceed $400,000, authorizing an amendment to the lease in connection with said underlying agreement for a county jail satellite facility located at 545 East 222nd Street, Euclid, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1.
Move to adopt.
Second.
President, this was heard in committee. What we determined that it would be important for the county council and the administration to go 1 year as opposed to 5. I had discussions with the executive. He agreed with that. Our concerns initially were with our partners in Euclid as to we didn't want to leave them hanging. Some talked to the mayor. I talked with the law director who was in attendance, the police chief who was also in attendance, and they understand where we're at with the losses that we've been having out there, which are substantial. So we're going to give it this year. We're going to take a look at it and find out where we're going. We also have a couple other balls in the air, one with a discussion on a new jail, new justice center, redo, refix, whatever, and that's going to have to happen in a shorter amount of time than I think any of us even imagine because of the problems that we're having over there. As a good faith offering, Euclid owed us 2 payments of $60,000 this year. We request that the administration waive those costs so that Euclid isn't paying for something that may be left back in their hands and that we might have to walk away. The committee unanimously asked for that, and I would hope the administration will follow through with that. We will continue to have this in committee. We will continue our contact with the administration and the police chief out in Euclid. We'll look at the numbers and we'll make a decision later next year, I would imagine, would be the appropriate time. So having said all that, I would recommend we adopt this.
Councilwoman Simon.
I'm only support of this 1 year with understanding that we are going to fully explore whether it makes sense to support Euclid Jail as we said we would with adjustments to the cost, and understand as well that regionalization sometimes doesn't mean that we have to make money or break even. Sometimes regionalization means that we support our communities in ways that sometimes are below the bottom line. So I will support this today, but also will be following up with the City of Euclid. It's not only the police chief or the law director, it's also a full city council that has an opinion, and we'll be meeting with them as well to see if they want to continue a partnership with the county, and maybe there's a way we can all succeed on this, and I hope that's the case.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0086, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for the Shelter Care Spectrum of Services program for the period March 1, 2018 through February 29, 2020 for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,577,851 as printed on the agenda. And additionally, Councilmember Conwell would like to be a sponsor to this legislation.
Move to adopt. Mr. President, this also was heard in committee. This is an extension of existing contract for our shelter program, which is an alternative to secure detention for our juveniles. Recommendation is suspension and adoption.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0087, authorizing a contract with InfoPro Computer Solutions in the amount not to exceed $555,000 for information technology services for the Buckeye Case Management and Computer Network Systems for the period April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2022.
Move to adopt. Mr. President and colleagues, this resolution approves a 3-year contract with InfoPro Computer Systems for $555,000 for case management services for the Court of Appeals. And I ask for the support of my colleagues.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0088, making an award on requisition number 44122 to Youth Opportunities Unlimited in the amount not to exceed $4,511,760 for the Comprehensive Case Management Employment Program, Employment Education and Training Services for Young Adults for the period April 1, 2019 through March 31, 2020.
To adopt. This matter was heard in committee last week, and this is the bill. This is the budgeting for about 1,000 summer youth jobs that Youth Opportunity Unlimited administers every summer. So I ask for your support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Mr. President?
Yes, Councilman.
I would like if my name could be added.
Please add Councilman Miller's name.
Add mine as well.
And add Councilman Jones's name. Anybody else? Consideration of resolutions for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2019-0070, declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of various roads, streets, and a boulevard located in various municipalities in connection with the 2020 50/50 resurfacing program, finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvements as printed on the agenda. Additionally, Councilmember Simon would like to be a sponsor to this legislation.
Motion to adopt.
Moved and seconded.
Mr. President, this legislation was brought forth before the Public Works Committee a few weeks back, and this is part of the 50/50 program for the 2020 year. There were some additional funds that allowed for us to move this forward at an earlier rate than normally. So I would ask for my colleagues' support on this as we move forward. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 2019-0071, authorizing an agreement with State of Ohio, Office of the Auditor, in the amount not to exceed $533,000 for an annual audit for calendar year 2018 for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019.
Move to adopt. Mr. President and colleagues, this resolution approves a $533,000 contract with the state auditor for our routine 2018 audit of the county's finances, and I ask for the support of my colleagues. Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution is adopted. Committee report and consideration of an ordinance for second reading.
Ordinance number 2019-0004, enacting chapters 1303 and 723 of the Cuyahoga County Code, authorizing bicycle and scooter share licensing.
Oh, well, this item will actually.
Oh, so it's
that's okay.
under consideration
This item
for
will
second.
move to the April 23rd council agenda for consideration for third reading adoption. The chairwoman is enthusiastic.
Again, yeah, I withdraw my motion.
Miscellaneous committee reports, starting down here.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Council Operations, Intergovernmental Relations, and Public Transportation will be meeting on Tuesday, April 23rd at either 2 or 3 o'clock, depending on what meetings are before council. It is a bit unusual to have a council meeting or a committee meeting before a council meeting, but it was agreed upon by the committee that this would be the best time. We will be hearing a legal opinion, and we will also be entertaining an amendment. So I encourage members to put either 2 or 3 o'clock on your schedule. Thank you.
Mr. President and colleagues, Finance and Budget gets a much needed break during the next 2 weeks, but the storm is coming.
Okay. Mr. President, Public Works will meet Wednesday, April 17th at its regularly scheduled time.
Tuesday, 1 o'clock, safety.
HHS will meet Wednesday, April 17th at 1 o'clock, chaired by Vice Chair Jones.
Development will not meet this session.
Human Resources Appointment and Equity will meet at its regularly scheduled time on April 16th at 10 o'clock for the item referred today.
Education Environment will meet at its regularly scheduled time Wednesday, April 17th at 3 p.m. to hear the items that were referred today.
Is there any miscellaneous business? Hearing none. This council meeting is adjourned.